Alright, so let's use implicit differentiation to find y prime if x cubed plus y cubed is equal to 6x times y, or 6 times x times y, whatever. So the first thing, and because we're using y prime, we're going to keep it prime here. In terms of x here, this is x cubed prime. Again, this is just as a function of x, though, but we would write x or y cubed prime. When you do take y prime, you're going to end up having another y prime. You just add, or you multiply the other y prime. Here's what I mean. Let me just go ahead and put the prime over this one. Alright, so the easy one would be taking prime of x cubed, because it's in terms of x here. That's just 3x squared. Now, here's what I mean when you take the derivative or the prime of y. So you still take the derivative as if it were x, which is 3y squared, but you must multiply by a y prime, okay? And on the right side, you have 6xy, so we can factor out that 6 and just use product rule because it's x times y. You have two functions there, essentially. So use product rule. We would have x and then y prime. Again, this is not the added or multiplied y prime yet. And then plus y and then x prime. So let's work with the right side. The 6 is still factored out. Nothing to do with the x, no derivative there. When you take the derivative of y, or when you take the prime of y, it becomes 1. But again, when you take a derivative of y, when using implicit differentiation, you multiply by another y prime. So essentially, the derivative of y is 1, but you add that y prime. So technically, you're staying with y prime here. So y prime plus y, and then the derivative of x, or the prime of x, is just 1. But you don't add another y prime, because it was a derivative of x. And then parentheses. And then over here, you're left with the 3x squared plus 3y squared times y prime. All right, on the right side, you can distribute this 6 to the two terms. That becomes 6xy prime plus 6y. And on the right side, you have 3x squared plus 3y squared y prime. And now we can solve for the y prime. So I want the y primes. I'm going to highlight them here. I want the y primes over on the left side. So we'll do 3y squared, y prime, minus 6y prime. And I'll move this 3x squared over to the right. So we're going to have 6y minus 3x squared. And we can factor out a y prime, so we get 3y squared minus 6x is equal to 6y minus 3x squared. We can now divide by the 3y squared, so divide by this here to both sides, and that will give us y prime is equal to 6y minus 3x squared over 3y squared minus 6x. And that could also reduce to y prime is equal to, we can divide everything by 3, 2y minus x squared over y squared, y squared minus 2x, 2x, and this is our final answer.